Hi, I'm Libby Gibson, Town Manager. Welcome to What's Going On in Town Government. We had a pretty decent-sized selectmen's meeting this week, and one of the first things was a presentation on a study that we had done by our engineers, Woodard and Curran, of the Maya-Comet watershed. And the idea was to identify where this watershed is and see what's going on within it to see if there are any mitigation types of things that the town or private property owners could do to mitigate things like flooding. So the study will be put online. The presentation was good. It was a bit long, but the bottom line was that there are some private property owners who I think believe their property to be within this watershed, but they are not. So anyway, it was a study about that. It was not a water quality study. I've had a couple people ask about that. It had nothing to do with water quality. It was more the watershed of the Maya-Comet Pond. It's the area that is basically kind of tributary to the pond itself, where the, I hope I'm saying this right, the water that is shed from the pond, so to speak, flows. So there's a pretty big area. It's outside of the actual pond.
Yeah,
yes.
okay.
We also recently had a town administration operational review performed by an outside consultant, so he reported out on that. And there were some recommendations, such as an additional staff member for town administration. Don't panic about that. We are going to be looking at that, though. We have a very high volume of activity in our office, and a lot of times the assistant town manager and I are dealing with things that aren't really things we should be dealing with. We need to be doing more long-term strategic planning types of things, and not porta potties and Matticat, quite frankly. So anyway.
So does that mean you're going to get another person?
Well, we're going to talk to the board about it. The board heard the presentation, and there were some other recommendations. Like there's a recommendation for the board to meet every other week, because we spend an awful lot of time getting ready for agendas and doing the follow-up from agendas from the meetings.
Wow.
So a lot of towns boards meet every other week. We do, though, have a lot of things that other towns don't have. County, sure. NRTA, the nursing home, the enterprise funds, all that sort of thing.
Is that really something they're seriously going to think about?
Well, the board, this is not the first time this has come up. A Department of Revenue management report from 2 years ago recommended the same thing, and the board didn't accept it. So they may or may not take it up. Anyway, so that more to follow on that particular item. The big thing of the meeting was a public discussion about the hospital's proposal to relocate its facility to the Wyers Valley site, the town-owned site where the water company's offices presently are. And that was meant to be a discussion where the public could come in and express concerns, ask questions, and then if there were questions the board didn't know the answers to, then we would forward them to the water company and the hospital, and they would answer them and send them back, and we'd post it somewhere. So that kind of totally didn't really happen exactly like that, but there were a number of people who spoke in support of a new hospital, and I think I don't know that there's too many people who don't think we need a new hospital. I think the consensus is we need a new hospital. The question is, where is it going to go? The hospital has selected a site. I think some of the board concerns are there other sites? So in any case.
And what happens to the
happens to the site the hospital is on now, and things like that. So in any case, there will be more public discussion about this. How much it's going to cost, how things like how big is the hospital going to be and what is going to be in it are not necessarily things for the Board of Selectmen to really talk about. There are other regulatory agencies that will talk about that, and there will be many public hearings on this. So they didn't set another meeting, but there probably will be more meetings.
Does the town spend any money of its budget into the hospital at all?
There is a little bit, I think, or maybe it didn't happen in fiscal 15, that is under an appropriation called Health and Human Services. And the hospital at one point was getting some money from the town for social worker costs and things like that.
Okay.
So there's a little.
A little.
I don't know too many towns that have appropriations for their local hospital. Probably because a lot of them are in a regional situation.
Sure.
Doesn't mean we shouldn't, but
Sure.
it'd be a little bit unusual. In any event, so that may be another thing the board talks about going forward. We also set a public hearing for a entertainment license violation of the lobster trap. That will happen on September 10th.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Too loud, or what happened?
It was a series of things, and we have a policy, the board adopted it last year, that if there are 3 or more verified complaints, a hearing will be scheduled. So that's what happened. We talked about our budget timeline for fiscal 16. We also set a public hearing to consider the renewal of the harbor fuel storage license. That will be on, I think, September 10th as well. And those are the types of things that are going on. The board will not meet next week on the 13th. We'll meet again on the 20th, and then they don't meet again until September 10th. So, Gino, it's busy. There's a lot going on. The Pops is this weekend. The Opera House Cup, I think, is next weekend.
Yep.
Race week starts. It is busy, but it's
Packed.
all good.
Packed.
It's packed.
Yeah, try driving around.
Try driving around, or try not driving around and try taking the shuttle or riding your bike or walking.
Exactly.
But if you're riding your bike or walking or even taking the shuttle, please don't text while you're riding your bike or walking. Why do people do that? Do you have to do that?
I do.
Why?
No, I'm just kidding.
Just sort of, if you really feel like you have to text something while you're walking, try to move off to the side and don't stand in the middle of the sidewalk. Please?
Yeah.
And try to be patient and take some deep breaths. This is the time of year where everybody starts getting huffy and impatient about things. So just
Yep.
deep breath. Deep
Yep.
breaths. I'm all about the
September's
deep
coming.
breath. September's coming. September's beautiful. I'm feeling like there's already kind of an air change. It's starting
Yeah.
to turn.
Okay. That's good.
But it's, this is great, and good. It's a good summer so far. So what else? Did you have a little question?
Oh yeah. I did have a question about signs, Libby. You brought this up.
What about them?
What are they called? They're cafe signs? What are they called?
I think they're called
foldable-
freestanding sandwich board signs.
Sandwich board. Okay, what's the deal on that?
Well, freestanding sandwich board signs, in most instances, are not legal, and you should not have one. If you want one, you can go to the HDC Sign Advisory Committee and talk it over with them, but unless they approve it, it is not permitted. So there's an effort to try to get people to comply without formal enforcement. And those efforts have perhaps not achieved the desired outcome, meaning these signs are still around. So at some point, I think some more formal enforcement is going to have to come forward through
Yeah.
the HDC.
Right.
But,
But then you got people sticking stuff up on signs with their own private
They-
little,
people are a little out of control with the signs.
the little
it's-
paper ones I'm talking about.
They're
but-
out of control with the paper
Yeah.
signs, yeah. All notice
towns
to all
do it.
people with
Yeah.
paper signs and any other kind of sign, just think about where you are. We've had a lot of, not a lot, but some discussion at some of the board meetings about how tacky, the quote, general tackiness of that type of thing. And it's,
Right.
some people don't notice it, and it's very bothersome to other people, and that's not what Nantucket's about.
I was at the Rotary near the Stop and Shop, and I saw people sticking them up on the signs there.
They do it all the time.
Yeah,
And then they never go back and take them down.
that's even worse.
Which is even worse. It's completely irresponsible. So, speaking of irresponsible, people, please pick up after yourselves with trash. Don't put your trash right next to the trash can. Put it in the trash can. We've gotten a little bit of complaint that the trash cans are overflowing, so you can't put your trash in the trash can. Then find another one.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, people put something big at the top of the trash can, like a pizza box. That's it for that trash can, even if it's not even full, because people don't.
No.
Anyway,
Yeah.
other than that, it's all. I think
Yeah,
it's
we
all
didn't get a
good.
walk
We didn't
by
get a
then.
walk by.
That's really too bad.
I know. I'm
We gotta
trying
set that up.
glancing around. Yeah, I'm gonna have to set it up. Who should we try to get? We had that
Why don't
person
you have
inside.
Erica come on sometime?
Erica's not a good walk.
Is she shy?
No, Erica would probably be a good walk.
She
by,
would be,
but,
because,
but
you
we
know-
need a non-town person.
Oh, I see.
We need a citizen that we know to walk by.
Right.
And ask us a good question.
Yep. Yeah.
All right. I think that's it for today. Thanks very much. See you next time.